So if you connect the midpoints of two sides of the triangle, this segment will be parallel, that's our symbol for parallel, to the third side.
Oh, we're taking notes.
And its length will be half of that of the third side. Okay, so there was a bunch of words, but let's talk about what those words actually mean.
I'm putting parallel because I'll never remember what that 11 stands for.
Okay. So what we know in this picture is that D and E and F, they are midpoints of the side that they're on. So that means that this side and this side are the same. This side and this side are the same. This side and this side are the same. Okay? That's what it means by midpoints. So in the first question it says, if DE is 5, what is AC? Okay? So this right here is 5. And it's asking me that right there. So what it says at the bottom is, if it's a midsegment and it does that, goes through the midpoints, then the midsegment is half the side or half the length of the third side. So you're going to multiply that by 2, and that means that AC would be 10. Okay? I'm going to erase that so we can do the next one.
What?
Next one says AB is 20. So this is 20. It says what is FE? So FE is this one right here. So if that's 20, are we going to multiply or divide?
Divide.
Divide because we're going smaller. Okay, and so it would be 10.
Wow. That's smart.
Okay, let's look at the next one. FD is 8. What is CB?
FD. Wait, what? CB?
Okay. So here's FD, and FD is 8.
Wait, so it's 16.
What is CB? So this is smaller, so I'm going to multiply by 2 and get 16.
Oh, I was right. Silence, did you hear me say it?
All right, next. It says BE is 5. And it says, what is EC?
5.
So I told you that E was a midpoint, right?
Yeah.
And so since E is a midpoint, that just means that those two segments separately are the same amount.
So it's 5.
So it's 5.
Let me do the next one. AB.
So AB is 15. That's the big one. What is AD?
What's 15 divided by 2?
So 15 is the whole side, and
It's
it just wants this
7.5.
part. So I'm going to divide it by 2 to get that part right there.
7.5. Heck yeah.
All right, last.
Wait, I'll do that one too.
She divided 15 by 2. Okay, last. AC is 17.
8.5. Already got it.
And the question is to find DE.
It's 8.5.
So when they give you the big one, if you want the small one, you divide. If they give you the small one and you want the big one, you multiply.
8.5.
Okay.
Oh, heck yeah, I'm good at these.
You can hear me?
Yes. Are you going to upload that one? Do it.
So number 1,
I'm going to watch it. She's recording. Shut up.
it says for us to find X. Okay, you see how on the sides how they put the 1 line and then the 2 lines? They're telling you that those 2 things are at the midpoint, so they're telling you this is definitely a mid-segment. And it wants us to find that X. And so I know that if this is 24, what's X? It's 12, because I know it's half of it, because that was a mid-segment.
I like the other one better.
Okay, so number 2. All they did is they turned it sideways. It's the same picture. Okay? The sides are 8, each 8, the sides are each 9. So they're telling you because those are the same that wherever X is the mid-segment. So do I multiply or divide? Divide until I get 3. Alright, so let's look at number 3 because this is a little different. Okay, the long side is 58. And the short side is 5x minus 1. And we're trying to find x. So what would this short side be if that long side's 58? How do you find it? Multiply or divide?
Divide.
Divide. So I'm going to divide 58 by 2. Okay, you get 29. What that means is that 5x minus 1 equals 29. And then we just solve it. So we add 1 and then divide.
You lost me, like big time.
Easiest to start with, the one with the number. So here's a 6. So what's the long side? 12. So then I know I'm going to take x minus 1 and equal it to 12 to solve for x. So I'm going to add 1 and you get 13. So number 5 asks us a lot of things. It wants to know AB, it wants to know CB, and it wants to know CA. So basically it's wanting the full sides. Okay? So start off with what they gave me. Okay? They gave me the 8, which is the little side here. So what side does 8 correspond to? The one underneath it. So what am I going to do to 8 to find it? Multiply by 2, so I get 16 for AB. See if you can find the other two. Alright, so CB is parallel to DF. And I know that DF is 3. So I'm going to multiply it by 2 to get CB. So what's CB? 6, because it's 2 times 3. Okay? Now, to find AC, AC is parallel to FE. FE is 7. So what is AC?
3.5.
Is AC longer or shorter than FE?
Longer.
AC is longer. So if FE is 7, I'm going to have to multiply by 2 and not divide by 2. So it's 14. Alright, last one. So we want to solve for x here. And we need to pick 2 sides that will help us do that. Okay? And if we're using this mid-segment idea, we need to pick like a short side and a long side that correspond to each other. Okay? I can see what all the long sides are, but there's only one short side I know. And it's the 4x one. So which one does 4x correspond to? This full one over here, right? So, because this is the short side, the 4x is the short side, I'm going to multiply the short side by 2 to get the long side, right? So 2 times 4x, and then equals 10x minus 10. So 2 times 4x is 8x, and then it's just an equation to solve. So subtract 10x on both sides. Divide by negative 2. And so we would get x is 5. Any questions?
Wait, where?
It is possible that you have x's on both sides and not just something as simple as 4x. Like if it had, instead of a 4x, let's say it said x plus 4. So what you would have to do is you would have like 2x plus 4 equals whatever. If it were different, this is just a totally what if kind of question. When that happens, if that happens, it's always 2 times the short side equals the long side. But you would have to multiply 2 times x and then 2 times 4. Okay, you'd have to use the distributive property. I didn't have to on the previous problem because that was just a 4x. It wasn't x plus 4. And so I just want you to see that because it's very possible that you'll have to do that. One more thing I need to tell you real quick. On number 6, it did say solve for x, but what if it said solve for, we're going to label it, if it said solve for AB, Okay? If it said that, what you would have to do is you would have to get x. We already got x was 5. And after you get the 5, then you would have to take the 5 and plug it back into the equation. So you would do 10 times 5 minus 10. So that's 50 minus 10, which is 40. And so that would be what you have to do. If it asks you for actually the length of the side, you find x or y or whatever the letter is, but then you plug it back into that side to find that length.
That sounds like
Okay.
results.